Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Crime Centric. This being a show where I talk about TV shows that are crime dramas. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about Poker Face, Season 2, Episode 11. Great episode. A lot of really interesting things went down in this episode, so let's break it down. So, saw a lot of interesting names in the opening credits. I was like, oh, interesting. Wow, okay. And then we saw, introduced to, Todd, played by Justin Theroux. And I was like, where's this going? Because, the guy's there. I thought that was interesting setup because I'm like, well, he can't just be, the victim in this, considering, we just got an introduction to him and he's just going to get murked out of nowhere. Especially because we couldn't see anything about the killer. They're wearing gloves. We're not seeing their face. And that all plays into it because the killer is a master of disguise. He proceeds to kill Todd, disposes his body in the most gruesome way where it's like, yo, I'm going to put you in this essentially vacuum sealing bag and basically going to goopify your body and then roll it up. It's like, Jesus. And especially because you cut back to it it being sucked in and then, all the air being sucked out and the body literally Breaking Bad, disposing of the body. It's got to be the same, I was about to say it could be acid the way the body was kind of, like I said, goopified, but very Breaking Bad style. But either way, the guy's a master of disguise and proceeds to make himself look like Todd. And he goes to this wedding. Was it Kirby and Vanessa? Kirby played by Haley Joel Osment, which I'm like, hell yeah. I talk about it all the time. Just every once in a while, just a little bit, when I kind of let myself stray, I could hear a little bit of Sora come through. I was just every time. It's always so fun when you get to see Haley Joel Osment play the biggest douchebags, and also you feel bad for him because I think there's at least 3 projects I've seen him get murked in pretty bad ways. I forgot how it goes down in Future Man, but it's pretty brutal in The Boys. And, not as brutal, but still kind of ugh, that's kind of rough. But once again, he plays asshole characters. It's so funny. But yeah, Kirby is an asshole, especially when he meets Todd. He's like, yo, do the thing. It's also, apparently, he's the reason why Todd has the prosthetic eyes, because, Rubber Band's like, yeah, who knew they do that? It's like, oh, yeah, it says the warning on the back of the label about stuff like that. So, and then it's also like, hey, do the thing. Oh, man, you did the thing. I actually don't even know what that's in reference to, but that's freaking hilarious, my guy. So acting like a complete another tool. So it's like, oh, I love the development of that because you don't know, you're here to get him, but then we find out, we see, because I knew Luca was going to be in the episode because I saw Simon Helberg's name in the credits, and I was like, oh, interesting. I was like, what's Luca here? And even the killer was like, you didn't tell me what was what. And even, the person on the other end, is using, a voice changer, which I was like, are we going to have another person in the FBI? That's initially. Don't ask me why. When I saw Taylor Schilling's name, I was like, "Is she going to be the voice on the other end?" But we find out she's an FBI agent. Which, funny enough, it's so interesting because I brought up I'm sure there's probably been other connections that I don't know of, but I left a comment retroactively because I completely forgot about the movie. But I'm a Cheerleader. It's a movie from '99, maybe 2000, with Natasha Lyonne. I think I even said that might have been the first thing I ever saw Natasha Lyonne in. Whatever the case may be. Her and Clea Duvall are in that movie together. Funny enough, there's a love interest situation there. I haven't seen the movie in a very long time, but I believe that's what that was. So it's funny. I mean, it doesn't mean anything, but it's just funny all these years later playing siblings. But yeah, I didn't put that together. But also, I know Taylor Schilling, probably the best known for Orange is the New Black. I've only said bits and pieces, but I also know Natasha Lyonne was in it too. So it's kind of another reunion. I'm sure there's probably other reunions that I'm just not aware of, but yeah. Whatever reason, I thought Taylor Schilling's character was going to be I thought that's who was on the other side of the phone, but when we got introduced her as an FBI agent, still could be because we had John Mulaney's character in episode 3 working for Beatrix, so it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility to have another dirty cop in the FBI orchestrating that. But either way, We'll get to that all a little bit later, but the killer's going to get paid extra, and it's oh, you got to find a patsy. Well, who unfortunately walks in that moment? They're talking about patsy, none other than Alex. So he's getting close to Alex because she's here as kind of part of just handling the oyster stuff as part of the catering for this place. And you're like, okay, so if Alex is here, that's how we're going to get Charlie involved in this situation. So yeah, drugs Kirby, then proceeds to murk him by using one of Alex's knives, then drugs her, have her wake up in the boat holding a weapon, and she looks extremely guilty. So we then proceed to rewind to kind of find out how we got here. And once again, it's just, hey, Alex has got a job and she wants, Charlie on the job with her. It's like, yeah, we're going to get paid decent enough. And it's like, yeah, there's certain rules about the oysters because when we do this wrong, a lot of people at this party could get sick and potentially die. So we have to be very careful about it. It's so interesting that, once again, finding out Lucas here, that despite all the promotions he's gotten, like, Taylor Schilling's character is, like, constantly shitting on him. But then, like, you have Lily Taylor's character, which I was like, hey, Lily Taylor. I was excited when she pops up and stuff. But she was like, hey, she's going through sensitivity training at the FBI, so she's trying not to be as, and it's like, oh, I respect your opinion, your feelings are validated, because Taylor Schilling's character thinks this is complete and utter bullshit because they're staking this situation. Well, could we find out in the long run, Beatrix's deal with testifying against the 5 families is, I need you to go to my son's wedding so that you can give him this photo as a gift, but also live stream the wedding to me. I need that. And that's the only way. And they're kind of thinking, like, this is kind of stupid. But, I mean, it's like, right, you're getting a lot of information. He's had a lot of success in previous cases, so you thought that would catch him a little leeway, which I think it does. But, obviously, it kind of means that it's always about, what have you done for me lately? And, yeah, you've had these successes, but this is a major screw-up you've had in this moment. So, it's like, yeah, it kind of null and voids any goodwill you have in the past. Which is a shame, but, a lot of things operate on a what have you done for me lately type of approach. But once again, I love Charlie just running into Luke and him being like, no, Charlie, and just like, just kind of the breakdown of everything where he's just kind of like, I didn't, like, the problem with you being here, she's like, I get it. Usually you in the same place and time, usually bad stuff happens. He's like, yeah, there's that. But there's also, like, several months of therapy going down the toilet because I've been, dealing with my imposter syndrome, from all the promotions I've gotten because of you. And she's like, oh, I'm really sorry about that. But she's also, like, kind of like, you're also congratulations. Because it is kind of like a double-headed thing of, like, you have imposter syndrome because Charlie is the reason why your career is where it is. I mean, you're a decent enough FBI agent, but Charlie has continued to be the good luck charm. In fact, not even just a good luck charm, the literal centerfold of your, like, career. So it is kind of like, and just knowing that you have to have to backpedal on my therapy because of this. It's like, yeah, so I don't want you here messing with this case, especially when she finds out, like, holy crap, Kirby is Beatrix's kid. Is this what's going on? It's like, don't get involved. And so, Beatrix just wants, this is a child she abandoned, and it's just like, yeah, I want to, do something while I'm in witness protection. I want to make things right with this child of mine. And it kind of makes sense, the timing too, because you don't have to worry about any, like, reaching out because you are distancing yourself from the world. You're turning on the 5 families and you're in the witness protection. So this is kind of the best opportunity and time to do something like that. Reach out in the smallest way in the regards of, hey, I want to have this filmed so I can see it, or streamed, but also, yeah, have this photo of you to know, like, you are important to me. And so Kirby's pissed at his mom, and I love Charlie sitting down like, right, you actually know your mom. In fact, she tried to kill me on multiple occasions, but we're good now. And it's like, right, your mom is part of a dangerous world where it's like the people around her either end up dead, maimed, or arrested. Obviously, her most recent love, we didn't really go into that. He was informing on her by the FBI, but he also loved her, and she loved him too. So Kirby probably doesn't know that story. We don't need to rehash some horrible recent history for his mom. But it's like, right, your mom most likely kept you at a distance to protect you. And it's like, right, she does love you. The fact is, she must have called in a lot of favors to make this happen. Obviously, the FBI is not too keen and not too happy with Luca for, like, putting this together. But it's like, right, this is to make her happy because she wanted to do this. She called in a lot to make this happen. So it's like, you obviously do care. And he's just like, man, if mom had just, like, brought me into the fold, like, the things we could have done, like, because he's got this, like, balls, like, energy drink thing or whatever. He's like, think about, like, what we could have done. My brand with balls and her mob power, we could have made hand over fist when it comes to money. It's like, wow, a lot like your mom, kid. Just keep at it. Because they're also dealing with the guy in the mascot suit, which she's like, hey, she's like, is this a Ponzi scheme? And he was like, what? No, it's not a Ponzi. He's not a Ponzi scheme. He's like, not a pyramid scheme. And then later on, he's like, do you think it's really a pyramid scheme? She's like, hey, if it's working out for you, it's fine. He's like, oh, I put in like, 40-some grand and I got 300 and some back. She's like, oh, 1,000. He's like, no. It's like, oh, well, you keep on, buddy. You keep on. So, poor bastard. Also, I love, it's like, because she initially asked Luca, like, oh, are you here for the ball situation? And he was like, that's exactly what we're here for. And she's like, bullshit. He was like, damn it, I keep forgetting. I'm not used to that. So later on, when she's asking, like, you guys will protect Alex, right? And then he was like, of course. And she kind of looked at him like, okay, like she believed him. And then at first I thought when Lily Taylor's character was pulling him aside, being like, oh no, like, we can't really guarantee that. I thought he was going to be like, wait, we can't? I thought he was speaking honestly, but it's like, no, he was lying. He's like, yeah, of course I was lying. We have to say what we can to get Alex in. And then he realized at the second one, he's like, I was lying. And then he turns back towards Charlie. He was like, fuck, I keep forgetting. Literally the worst person to lie in front of. You think you would like submit that in your memory, considering this is the person who's pivotal to your continuous growth in your career. You would remember Charlie, living human lie detector. Do not lie in front of her for whatever reason, because she's going to call you out for it. And that's the thing. Like, Luca knows not to doubt Charlie. He knows, like, right, if Charlie says she's not guilty, it doesn't matter what it looks like. She's not guilty, but it's still the thing of the feds think she did it. Every attendee at the wedding at this wedding thought she did it. The mob is going to think she did it, especially if when the word gets to Beatrix and she's going to put a hit out on Alex of like, yo, you're the person that killed my baby boy, especially when they were trying to. It's so sad too, because this could have been some form of fixing things, and that's kind of all a moot point now. And so now Alex is freaking out because she's on the receiving end of this situation of, holy crap, I'm like, a lot of people are after me, what I'm going to do. And it's like, we're going to have to run because there's too many people after you. There's no way to kind of prove your innocence at this point in time, because the real killer is out there. And then especially when Alex finds out, oh my God, it was Hot Toddy. And it's like, who? It's like, right, the guy was like tripping about. It's like, I don't know how Charlie made that leap of, or maybe it's someone pretending to be him. It's like, how did you, well, she did catch him in a lie earlier when it was like, hey, here's my hand. And like, how'd you do that? He was like, oh, blah, 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 blah. Because we know that he's Todd was a teacher, so. But I don't know how you jump to the conclusion of he's not who he claimed to be. Like, that he's someone, like, that could just be Todd. But, like, somehow, I guess, like, maybe knowing that he's a teacher. I don't know, like, how Charlie herself made that leap, interestingly enough. Because she was just like, or someone pretended. Because even she's like, oh, that's pretty elaborate. It really is. But, well, unluckily for him, just before Charlie revealed her shtick of, hey, I'm a human lie detector, so he doesn't know that. So if they ever cross paths in whatever capacity it may be, he might be in a new disguise next time they meet. Charlie won't be able to see through him, but the moment he proves himself to be a liar, like disguise or no disguise, you can't, once again, it's not like reading anything. Her eyes can be closed. She could be turned around, not even looking at you. You could be far away, and she could look through binoculars like she did with Alex, and they're like, holy shit, she's telling the truth. It's just her gift. Like, no master of disguise is ever going to be able to get through that. No pathological liar, no matter how good they are, will be able to get through that. It's been proven time and time and time again. So now it's a race against the clock as they have to try and find some way of proving Alex's innocence as they take off. I love that, like, Luca's literally running on the dot, being like, yo, Charlie, just turn yourself and I can protect you. She's like, bullshit. He's like, okay, we can try to protect you. Once again, you thought you'd learn your lesson, but it's like, I get, once again, lying kind of comes a little natural. I mean, it makes sense. You're part of the FBI. Like, you can't really put all your cards on the table. You can't be too truthful and honest, so. But yeah, Charlie and Alex got away. Obviously, our poor boy Luca. Like, this is the first time he's ever gotten reamed the way he did. I mean, it's just like Lily Taylor just kind of basically fisted him in a metaphorical sense. And Taylor Schilling's character's like, oh God, that was so good. So glad to have you back, man. Like ripping, him a new asshole. It's just like, he's like, everyone's shitting on him of how much he royally fucked this up. But then we find out about the iguana and, this assassin that no one's ever seen, gotten photos of. Because even when they were taking a photo with Todd, it was like, Kirby and the groomsman, he like put his head down. So, trying to make sure no photos are taken of him, even if he's in disguise. Maybe some facial recognition stuff will kind of look past like the prosthetics and makeup type of thing. But then we have Alex and Charlie. The only move that they can make is we have to go to the one person that could probably like help in this situation, and that's Beatrix. Like if we can go to her and she trusts me enough, because it's like, yeah, our situation was fraught with how we cross paths, and then it also became more fraught the circumstances that led to us being good. But she knows my whole shtick, so if I tell her you had nothing to do with it, she'll believe me. But then there could also be an argument like, well, you can call people out for lying or telling the truth, but we can't necessarily call you out for lying or telling the truth. But it's like, Charlie doesn't lie. She tells the truth always. It is the thing of like, yeah, I'm trying to think, like, have we ever seen Charlie actually lie? Considering truth, like, how does Charlie feel about, like, herself lying? Like, would that kind of, like, is that cringe to her? Would it kind of, like, I don't think that's ever really come up, her actually lying. She'll deflect and maybe beat around the bush in some regards and just be like, I don't want to do this. But like straight up lying, I don't think we've seen her do that in the show. I never really gave that too much thought to now. Like, how would her whole shtick affect her, Because she's capable of lying. I think just because our whole thing is about truth, she just never felt the need to, considering like the world is constantly filled with, the most like unnecessary lies that she would never feel the need to lie. Either way, I love how they go about finding Beatrix, because it's like, well, you can't really go to Luca about that information because he's going to try and convince you to come in, which is so funny because last time you were in a situation like this, he was like, don't come in, like, in season 1's finale, like, do not come in, like, you're going to be screwed over. So it's funny how they're on opposite ends where it's like, nah, he's full on chasing you, even though he does believe you. The way of tracking down Beatrix is because Beatrix sent her Finsta, but the reason why Charlie doesn't interact with it, because she's like, I don't want that all up in my algorithm. And then she's like, oh, I got a messenger. It's like, wait, I follow her, but she doesn't follow me back? Like, come on, B, like, what the fuck? And so it's like, right, we got to look for some clues, took some pictures of some stuff, and it's like some guy running for something in Indiana, so that tells them where Beatrix is. It at least, narrows it down. So it's like, okay, that's good. But then with this whole iguana conversation, they realize, okay, there's something bigger at play here. This wasn't just Kirby getting murked because of his business. He's getting murked because of who his mom is. So it turns out that they killed Kirby. I was about to say, like, wouldn't the easiest thing to do is, like, frame Alex and then kill her? But it's like leaving your... I mean, a dead Patsy is actually better than a living Patsy. Unless it's a Patsy where it's like you can buy their silence. But in this case, it's like you're throwing her under the bus purposely. So it would be easier to kill her, but you need her alive because you want her to run. I don't know if, like, they figured out this after the fact or what. But, like how'd you know that Alex would run to Beatrix? Like, I guess, like, maybe they deep dive on Charlie or something, or, like, maybe he's been picking up on some information, and while things are kind of going down, he's like, interesting, Charlie, I guess I'll just, let them do their thing, and, like, maybe he was listening in on some of those conversations, because he was just probably skulking around. I mean, what you also have to consider, too, is we haven't seen him post him like dosing Alex and setting off the fireworks. It could just as easily be a situation of he ditched his disguise and he just looks the way he did, and so he blended in with the crowd. I mean, it's also like he's so unassuming that no one would know to come look for him because they didn't suspect him until like later in the episode. Well, at least, Charlie and Alex didn't. So, I don't know. But either way, the point is he's going to follow them to Beatrice, because this whole thing was like, and it's interesting because I kind of theorized like Charlie would probably be in a shitstorm of a situation, because I thought like, okay, the 5 families would still come after her, like something would happen to Beatrix and it would put Charlie in the crosshairs. I thought something like that would happen. Funny enough, kind of did in a sense. Granted, it's not Charlie in the crosshair by association, sure, because she wants to make sure her friend is still alive. But the person that's in the crosshairs is Alex. But it is kind of the thing of like, right, someone from the five families that she's riding on wants to shut her up. So this whole thing was a roundabout way. I guess really maybe the thing was hoping that by killing Kirby, they were hoping to draw her out of witness protection, that she'd show up for a funeral or something like that and then get got, or there would always be some trail to potentially find her because she would kind of slip up and leave some breadcrumbs that would eventually lead to her. I can assume like was always potentially part of the plan, but some very interesting developments. Great setup for the season finale. I like this being like the 1-2 punch that it is. I'm curious to see how this all plays out. I'm also curious to find out where he is. Because I immediately thought, like, I was scared the moment they got in the car. I'm like, we're not going to find out he's in the back seat or something. But then it's like, oh, he's following them straight to... And we didn't see a car following them at the end of the episode. But I was like, you don't think he's hiding out in the trunk, do you? That was my thought after, like, if he's not in the back seat ready to strike, oh, he's going to be following you guys straight to Beatrix. I'm like, could he be in the trunk? We'll ultimately have to wait to see where the season finale takes us going forward with all of this. But really, that's all I wanted to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.